we're in a society that will tell us, if you don't like what you have, upgrade it. If you don't like your car, upgrade it. If you don't like your house, upgrade it. If you don't like your TV, upgrade it. If you don't like it, our whole society now is built around upgrades. Our whole society is built around things that are not going to last, things that are not going to be there for a while, things that are going to break down essentially after a while. Our society is trying to pervert also the meaning of marriage. They're trying to say, well, when people get together, and I find it funny when somebody comes in and gets married before God and then gets a divorce, but then comes back in and gets married before God again, and then gets a divorce and comes back in a third time. You think, when did that commitment stop, or when did that commitment break? And so there's certain areas and there's certain things that do allow for divorce, and I'm not saying it's wrong to have a divorce, essentially, but there are more backing up why we should not get a divorce, obviously. And so as our society, though, will tell us to upgrade things. They'll say, well, if you don't like your wife, upgrade her. If you don't like your husband, upgrade her. If that was the case, my wife would have upgraded me a while ago. But our society now is just trying to tell us that marriage no longer is special. Marriage no longer is between a man and a woman. It's no longer before God. It's no longer a commitment to honor, to love, until death do you part. Now it's just we're living together. I did some research on this, and 40% of Americans now are married. At one point back in 2001, 6% of Americans lived together. Now that statistic has jumped from 6% now to 31%, I believe is what it was at. And so now 31% of Americans are living in sin together and not married. Well, why? Satan is coming after marriage as hard as he can right now, because he knows if he can destroy the home, he knows he can destroy our children. He knows that if he can destroy the home, he can destroy the church. And so on and so forth. And so we're going to get into that a little bit today. And so here in chapter 7 and verse 1, the first thing that I noticed, and I won't be very long today, I said that last week and I went long, but this week I promise I won't be very long. I've just got 3 things that God spoke to me about in this chapter that we'll be looking at. But the 3 things that a marriage needs to work, 3 areas that a marriage needs to be vigilant about, needs to be able to pay attention about. The first thing is that we need to be connected. A marriage needs to be connected. We need to always be together, not essentially 24/7, because then most of us would probably kill each other. But we need to be able to be connected. There was a statistic, and I didn't want to put all the statistics on here, but 37% of marriages feel like they are not connected, and that is one of the main reasons why they get a divorce. And so as a married couple, as a Christian couple, as somebody who loves the Lord and loves their spouses, we need to be connected. If we're not connected, then we grow apart. First thing that we need to realize here with that, and in verse 4 is where we're getting this from. So verse 4 it talks about the wife has not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband hath not power over his own body, but the wife. And so as we look here, the first thing that we see here is that you are not yours, you are his. And so for the ladies, if we realize that you're not yours, you're his, that will help you out. Second thing is that you are not yours, you're hers. So we're together, we're intertwined. That's pretty simple, isn't it? That's pretty basic. And so if we come to the realization of that I am not mine, I am my wife's, and my wife is not hers, she's mine, we're together, we're intertwined, we're locked together, that will help us stay connected. Our society, and guys, the way we are and the way we think, is we tend to most guys think that we are God's gift to women. And that we can, if we left, or if our wife left us, that's okay. We have people lined up outside. We can find whoever we want. I have talked to so many people that have told me that. In their mind, they think, well, if my wife left me, that's fine. Who wouldn't want this? I mean, come on. That's how guys think a lot of times. But in our society, we have to be careful. Be careful of flattery. Be careful of anger. Don't hold on to things, give them to God. A lot of times, in fact, I heard a counselor say this past week, he said, my wife and I came to an agreement that when we forgave each other for something, that's where we left it. We never brought it back up again. If one of us would bring it back up again, then we would say, well, hold on, time out, you're out of bounds. Bounds? Yeah, out of bounds. You brought up something that you already forgave me for. So if you've forgiven me for this, you can't bring this back up again. Why? Because you forgave me. We're the picture of Jesus and the church. And so if Jesus forgave us and he forgets it, then when we forgive somebody, that's it. We forget it. We cannot bring it back up again. Don't hold on to anger. I heard somebody say one time that don't go to bed angry. That did not work for my wife and I. We realized that if we did not go to bed angry, we would be up all night, and then by the time morning came, we were just even mad. So we realized that if we were to go to bed, sleep on it, the next morning we'd wake up, and common sense would kind of kick in and say, hey, I was wrong, or more than likely she was wrong. And but that would help us to cool heads. My wife and I were very strong-willed. And so when you have two people just hitting at each other, it ended bad. So we came to the agreement, hey, let me walk away for about an hour. Let me cool off. Let me reason with myself to where I can understand what you're thinking. Communication's a huge part. When you're trying to talk over each other. You can't be connected if you're trying to talk over each other. And so you don't go to bed, for some people, don't go to bed angry. For other people, walk away, cool down a little bit. But don't ever leave all night. Don't ever leave for more than an hour. Spend your time together. You are to respect your husband. He is placed as the head of the home from God. We did not place ourselves there, but God did. So your responsibility is to respect your husband. Men, we're to love our wives. We're to commit to our wives. We're connected. You are not yours, you're hers. Men are visual. So if we remind ourselves that we are hers, we will not wander. Guys, we're visual. We look at things. Things catch our attention. So if we think, if my wife is standing beside me, should I be looking at that? If she catches me, what's going to happen? Well, if I'm hers, then I need to remind myself that. I need to remind myself that I'm visual. Stay out of sin. That's why guys should never go to a strip club. Period. Why? Because we're visual. It's wrong. It's sin. We're hers. She's ours. So we're connected. We're supposed to be connected. Men, we tend to put ourselves first. They are flowers. There's our responsibility to take care of them. A lot of times I've seen men that come in and you're to be pregnant, barefoot and pregnant, and make my dinner woman, and this and that and the other, and you know, they're not our slaves. I've heard pastors and people think they're our slaves. They're not. They're equal. We're the head, but as my mom would say, I'm the neck. So I turned that. We're one. And so we are to take care of our spouses. We're to love our spouses. We're to provide for our spouses. I talked a little bit last week about providing for our families as men, what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to give our wives that that sense of peace and security and hope. Why? Because they're our responsibilities. We're the head of the home. God placed us there. We're to take care of our wives. I've known people, in fact, I'm reading this book on God's perfect plan, and the pastor talked a little bit about reasons why people get a divorce. And so I kind of wrote them down here. Top 10 reasons for people's divorce. Number 1 is infidelity. Once again, we go back to guys who are visual. Ladies respond to flattery. We have to protect ourselves. We have to watch ourselves. Infidelity is the number 1 most common. Money is the number 2. Money and lack of communication go hand in hand. I have seen people, in fact, I had a brother-in-law that told me I'm the head of the home, so I handle all the finances. My wife doesn't do anything. She doesn't need to do anything. She doesn't even need to know about the money. The problem that happened is that when she'd go to the store to buy something, the card would decline. Now, she's insecure. Now she's worried. Now she's concerned. That communication comes into place. We talk with our wives. There's been times I've talked with my wife and said, okay, honey, look, we've got several $1,000s out in checks. I've got several bills coming up. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to be very frugal these next couple days because cash flow is everything for a small company. but I'm communicating with my wife. I'm letting her know. This way, she doesn't have to worry. Hey, why don't we have any money in the account? Is any money coming in? Are we about to go bankrupt? We're about to lose the house, so on and so forth. Lack of communication. Consistent arguing. When we're trying to speak over each other, when we're trying to talk over each other, we cannot be connected if we're consistently arguing. Weight gain, that goes to visual. People, men or women, and I've talked to people and I've counseled with people before, and I had one time when I was counseling with a young couple, and girl came in and she was in sweatpants and baggy clothes, and he came in, he was in a polo shirt and khaki pants, and he said, one of the hardest things that I have to do is that she doesn't try to impress me anymore. And she said, well, we're married, I don't have to. She said, we're married now. We're legally bound together, so I know I'm not going to lose you. And so I had to talk them through that. And I had to say, hey, you know what, just because you're married doesn't mean you stop trying to better yourself, or stop trying to, you communicate, you flirt with each other, you walk by and close your ears and you tap her on the backside a little bit or something, you hug her, you kiss her, you do something to show her that you love her. You consistently work for that. Love is not easy. Love does not come overnight. A lot of our society and our teenagers, you listen to them. I love teenagers. You're getting to that stage where he's going to be like, but Dad, I just love her so much. They don't know what love is until they have an argument till 1 or 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Love. So we don't just look at, we try to better ourselves, we try to help each other out. Unrealistic expectations. There's a lot of unrealistic expectations. 30, how long have you two been married? 37, okay, he was right. I asked him, but he kind of hesitated, so I just want to make sure. So 37 years, you realize...
Once I got past 20, I had nothing to take off in order to count.
You got your teeth, don't you?
Yeah.
So, 37 years, I imagine you guys have come to the realization of that there are some expectations, some unrealistic expectations when you went into marriage 37 years ago. And you have to get past that. One of the top 10 reasons is the unrealistic expectations. They automatically think that their husband's not going to smell like body odor. They automatically think that the woman's going to wake up and be completely perfect, makeup on, hair done, and everything else. And they think all these unrealistic expectations. So when they get married, then they start to freak out, because then they're like, what do you mean you're not going to make breakfast for me? What do you mean, I got a flight at 2 o'clock in the morning. You should be up at 1 o'clock making my breakfast so that then I can make that flight. Unrealistic expectations. Lack of intimacy. Lack of equality. Once again, we're married. We're intertwined. I think the best way I've ever heard it with a shoe fights. He's the general, she's the commander, or he's the commander, or how did you put it? He gives the order, you fill out the order. You enforce, or yes, I got it in my mind, I just can't say it. That's a good way to say it. He's the head of the home, but he doesn't tell her, I'll put it this way. I've had people that when I talk to, they're like, well, your wife should ask you permission to do everything. And I tell them, you know what, when I call my wife and I say, hey, is it all right if I go to the gym? I'm not asking her permission. I just want to make sure that it's okay with her, that she didn't have something special planned for me. There's that communication. I want to make sure that she's not having a horrible day and she's like, honey, I'm about to kill one of these kids. I can't, please, you can't do that tonight. Okay, not a problem. She's not telling me no as an authoritative figure. We're intertwined. We're communicating. If she's having a problem, I want to know, and vice versa. I want to know if she's having a problem. Because if we don't communicate, then we're going to have a lack of equality, or a one thing is going to think that they're over the other. Not being prepared for marriage.
Nobody is.
Nobody is prepared for marriage. This is why I am very big on going to a Christian counselor for premarital counseling, or the pastor. Why? Because the pastor can sit down with them and give them some basic thoughts of, hey, if you get into this, this is what you're going to look for. This is what's going to happen. So you've got to be ready for this. But nobody is ready. We went to premarital counseling, and we still had some interesting first year. It was wonderful, but we didn't know what to expect from marriage. And then abuse. You know, a lot of people, they think, well, abuse is automatically you hit your wife or your wife hits you or something like that. It doesn't just stop there. There's verbal abuse. There's mental abuse. You know, when you get mad and you verbally abuse your wife or vice versa, you belittle your husband or anything like that, it can turn into that realm of abuse. If we focus on that, I'm not mine, and she's not hers, we're together, that would solve all 10 of these issues. If we realize, and if our society realized, and I know everybody in here has now been married for quite a while, but hey, Satan's coming after the marriage harder than ever. And so, but if we realize that if we're not connected with one another, if we're not communicating with one another, if we don't connect emotionally with one another, then Satan is going to tear us apart. We need to be connected. Second thing that I see is that we need to be committed. 100% committed. I've talked to people that have or start looking off to the side. I've got a close friend who went through a divorce and he left his wife for somebody else. And I told him, I said, you know, if I was your girlfriend at the time, I said, I wouldn't trust you. He's like, well, why not? I'm a trustworthy guy. I said, no, because you're not committed. You were married, but then you're looking off and you're trying to find somebody else and you're talking and flirting to other people. You're not committed if you're doing that. Commitment in our society has become a thing of the past. Commitment in our society, we want a contract, or we want to get bills or like cell phone plans without contracts, and we want to get internet or TV without contracts, and everything we want to do now, we don't want contracts anymore. Why? Because we don't want to be committed. We want to be able to leave whenever we want. Our society is not committed. The Bible says in verse 27, art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. We are to be committed. We're to be bound. Not as in like ball and chain bound, but committed. I'm committed to loving my wife. If I don't fight for that, if I don't try to strengthen that commitment, if I don't try to remember that, hey, until death do us part, and as Jesus says, I'm not for divorce, but I am for murder. Until death do us part, if I'm not committed, I'm going to start wandering. I'm going to start looking. We're to be committed in love. I need to do these things quicker. Ephesians 5:28 says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ so loved the church and gave himself for it. Our society anymore does not commit to anything. We're to commit to our spouses with love. And say, hey, you know what? No matter what we're going through, I commit that I'm going to be loved with, that I'm going to love you. I'm going to work for it. I'm going to do these 21 things at the beginning. Why? Because I love you. I want to be committed. But see, our society anymore, nobody wants to be committed. Nobody joins a church because we don't want to be committed to the pastor telling us what to do, when to do it, how to do it, or so on and so forth. We don't want to be committed to certain plans. And you go to the gym and they say, okay, you can pay $15 a month with no contract or $12.99 a month with a get 1 year contract. Most of us go, yeah, I'm going to pay $15.99, even though we're going to pay for the year. But we don't want to have that commitment. We don't want to have that contract. I believe churches right now are under attack because Christians don't want to commit to a church. Christians don't want to commit to coming to God's house and to loving one another. And I'll say this, if we don't commit to God, how are we going to commit to our wives? Amen. Or to our husbands? Our society lacks commitment. We're to be committed and to be faithful in all. When we're on our computers, when we're looking at our phones, or when we're at the store, or when we're wherever we're at, and we're looking and we see something that we shouldn't be looking at, you know, we should be remembered to be faithful. I talked to a couple one time. I didn't counsel them, but I just talked to them. He was looking at porn, and she was cheating on her husband. She said, it's the same thing. He said, no, it's not. I didn't touch another woman. It was just porn. Didn't hurt anybody. It's just me by myself. She said, yes, but you cheated. Our society now looks at porn and they say, well, it's not really cheating. The Bible says that if you look after another and you lust after her, you've committed adultery in your heart. That's not what I said, that's what God said. But see, we're not committed anymore. We're not committed to our house, to our wives. 27% of people share bank accounts. Married couples share bank accounts. 15% of people know the other spouse's password. They say, well, don't you trust me? Well, if you trusted me, you would have given me that password. If you trusted me, we'd have a shared bank account. We're not committed anymore. We live in a time where there's no commitment. People don't want to commit to anything. But we're to commit and be faithful in all. If we keep in mind, and like I said, I'm going to use the shoe felt because they've been made the longest. But as the shoe felt's 37 years, or as one guy said, it was like 2 minutes underwater. You have to be committed. Because if you get into a fight, and I imagine you two have gotten into a fight.
Oh, no.
I imagine the Campbells, you guys have gotten into a fight. I imagine the McCrays, you've gotten into a fight. And the Hines, I imagine you guys have gotten into a fight. I know my wife and I haven't, but the rest of you might haven't. If we're not committed, we look for the scapegoat. When we first got married, I wasn't committed like I should have been. We would get into arguments. She would not want to do what I wanted to do. What do you mean you don't want to spend this much money on a TV? What do you mean we need food before a TV? What do you mean I can't buy this video game? What do you mean? So on and so forth. And so I'd say, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get divorced now. We just don't like each other. My dad told me one time, he's like, you should never, ever, ever, ever threaten her. Okay. He said, you married her. She's your problem. That was her family. Be committed. We're to be committed to our spouses. And the last thing here, and I'll finish here, is be careful. The Bible says in verse 35, and this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is commonly, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction. Be careful of distractions. Be careful of distractions. Be vigilant. We're to be vigilant. In 1 Timothy 3:2 it says, a bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife. That doesn't mean one wife at a time. Okay? I've heard some pastors say that. I've heard some Christians say that. They say, well, that just means you can't have multiple wives at the same time. No. He's talking about having one wife. Period. So you're married once. Be vigilant. Be sober. Of good behavior. Given to hospitality. Apt to teach. In 1 Peter 5 and verse 8 it says, be sober. Be vigilant. Because your adversary, the devil, is a roaring lion, walking about, seeking whom he will devour. He's coming after marriages harder than ever before. You see all this legal stuff starting to happen. And you see people now that are starting to say, or the government's trying to tell churches that we cannot preach against homosexuality, and we cannot say that, hey, that marriage is only between one man and one woman anymore. We can't preach against that. And so Satan is coming after us. Why? Because he knows that if he can destroy the marriage, if he knows he can destroy the household, he's going to destroy our kids, he's going to destroy our churches. The marriage is an example of the bride of Christ. We are to be careful. There are so many distractions. We have entertainment. We have looks. In other words, when we're watching a movie and something pops up we shouldn't be watching, it doesn't matter. Satan's planting the seed. When we are not guarding our eyes, and we're not looking, we're not protecting, we're not being vigilant at what we're looking, and we get distracted on things. They complement. I talked to this guy that got a divorce, and he said, well, the reason why is because when I was talking to this lady, she was complimenting me all the time. She said, oh, your wife, she doesn't treat you right, so on and so forth. He said, at first, I didn't think much about it because I was committed to my wife, but the more I talked to her, then the more I realized, hey, she's right. I said, if you were committed to your wife, you wouldn't have been talking to her again. When she started doing that, when she started flirting with you and leading into that stuff, you should have walked away from her and not put yourself in that point of view.
Amen.
But see, we're not careful. We think we can handle things. We think I've got this under control. We think, hey, I can do this. There was a pastor, very good friend of my parents, been a pastor for 38 years. Fell out of ministry because he started having an affair. When they asked him what happened, he said it just started with one compliment. She said that I looked good that Sunday. And then he goes, it started with another one and another. I've heard of a couple that the wife, she put something on a blog and she said, I was walking through the store with, at that time she had 3 kids, and she said I was walking through the store and a nice looking gentleman, he said, man, you've got your hand full, man, you're a good wife, you're a good mom, and started complimenting her. She said she didn't think anything about it at first, she just said, oh, okay, thank you, and went on about her way, but then she goes, when she got home, and her husband first came in through the door and said, hey, where's dinner? Hey, aren't you going to do this, and aren't you going to do that? And she's like, I started thinking about him. Our society is not vigilant anymore. We have too many distractions. We have laziness, lack of communication. Satan wants to destroy our marriage. So my question goes back to you again today. Do you love your spouse? If you love your spouse, you'll be connected. You'll work for connection. It doesn't come overnight. It takes work. You'll be committed. You'll say, hey, you know what? No matter what, no matter when, no matter how, no matter what's going to go on, if I'm connected, I'm going to be committed. Because if we're not committed, we've got one foot out the door. The last thing is be vigilant. If we're not vigilant, if my wife doesn't know what I'm doing and vice versa, and I'm not saying keeping a GPS tracker on her, anything like that, but our communication, if it's not open, if she doesn't hear from me, or something seems strange, she's going to call me. She's going to say, hey, what's going on? You normally call me at this time. Hey, what's going on? Why are you spending more time doing this? Hey, what's going on? Why are we not having our time together anymore? This Wednesday, I'm going to play a video on the spouses, the difference between the spouses. The guys, we have the nothing box. Well, we can sit there and we can be in our nothing box. Nothing's going on. We're just females, they can't. But we have to be vigilant. We have to be careful. Because Satan wants to destroy us. He's trying to pervert the meaning of marriage. He's trying to pervert the meaning of commitment. He's trying to say, hey, it doesn't matter how many spouses you go through. If she's not perfect, let's find the next one. If she's not perfect, or if he's not perfect, hey, let's find the next one. Let's upgrade. Let's get the thinner, better model. Let's be vigilant.